All right, picture this. The Great War is over. The Night King is dead. Jon Snow goes back to the north. Bran is now the king of Westeros. Peace is slowly returning, even though so much has been destroyed. And right there, standing quietly in the background, is Samwell Tarly, the soft-spoken, book-loving guy from the Night's Watch. Now imagine this. Instead of just becoming a maester in Old Town, what if Samwell Tarly became the Grand Maester of King's Landing? Yeah, the Grand Maester, the top one, the one who advises the king, the one who helps decide the future of the Seven Kingdoms. Sounds crazy, right? But not really, if you look closer. Let's go back for a minute and remember who Sam really is. He's not just Jon Snow's friend. He's the one who found out how to kill White Walkers. He discovered dragonglass. He was the first to read about Rhaegar and Lyanna's marriage. He even cured Jorah Mormont from grayscale, something nobody thought was possible. He did all this while people kept calling him weak, soft, useless. But Sam kept learning. He kept reading. He kept caring about people. And that's what makes this theory so strong. Because what if Bran, the new king, the all-seeing, all-knowing, three-eyed raven, knew that the kingdom didn't need a fighter, it needed a thinker? So, Bran names Samwell Tarly the Grand Maester of the Realm. And that's where the story gets really interesting. See, Sam isn't like the old Grand Maesters. He's not political. He doesn't play those sneaky power games like Pycelle used. 2. He's honest. He's loyal. And most of all, he believes in truth over tradition. In this new role, Sam would start by cleaning out the rot in King's Landing. The Citadel has always been slow, stuck in the past. But Sam, he saw firsthand how dangerous that was. He saw how their refusal to believe in magic nearly destroyed the world. So now, with Bran's support, he starts rebuilding the entire Master system. He pushes for maesters to study magic, history, and healing equally. No more ignoring the past, just because it's uncomfortable. And here's the juicy part. Imagine the nobles in King's Landing reacting to this. They don't like it. They want things to stay the same. They want someone they can control. But Sam, he's too smart for that. He might look soft, but he's grown. He's seen death. He's seen darkness. And now, he's not afraid to stand his ground. People whisper behind his back. He's just a fat fool from the Night's Watch. But behind closed doors, those same people fear him, because they know he's one step ahead of everyone. And let's talk about the library. Remember when Tyrion joked about building a brothel or a sewer system? Sam would say, "Let's build the greatest library Westeros has ever seen. A place where every bit of history, every scroll, every piece of knowledge is kept safe. No more secrets. No more burning books like the Targaryens did." But here's the twist. Sam isn't safe either, because when you start pulling back the curtain, you uncover truths that powerful people don't want revealed. He finds old records, names, plots, even hidden crimes from past lords and kings, and suddenly the Grand Maester becomes a target. There are attempts on his life, poison in his cup, shadows in the hallway. But Sam, he survives, not because he fights, but because he outsmarts them. With Gilly by his side and little Sam growing up fast, he turns the Red Keep into a place of truth, not lies. And what about his old friends? Tyrion, now the Hand of the King, respects him deeply. They work closely, but they argue often. Sam wants change, real change. Tyrion still plays politics. Their debates become legendary in the small council chamber. And Arya, she visits him once, briefly, on her way to somewhere far. She says something like, "You always were the clever one, Sam." Then she vanishes again. Even Jon Snow, from beyond the wall, sends messages from time to time. "You were always braver than you knew," he writes. Sam keeps those letters close. And Bran sees everything but says very little. Still, every time Sam doubts himself, Bran says just one thing. I chose you for a reason. By the end of Part 1, we've set up something big. Samwell Tarly, the scared boy from Horn Hill who was almost murdered by his father, is now one of the most powerful voices in the realm, not because of war, not because of blood, but because of truth. Knowledge and heart, but the Game of Thrones? It never ends. So, let's pick up right where we left off. Samwell Tarly is now the Grand Maester of King's Landing. He's doing what he does best, reading, learning, rebuilding the system from the inside out. But one evening, while cleaning out the dusty old chamber that belonged to Maester Pycelle, he finds something strange. It's a letter. Not just any letter. It's old, sealed in cracked wax, buried beneath false-bottom drawers and forgotten scrolls. The handwriting is rough, not formal like most royal notes, and when Sam opens it, he realizes this wasn't meant to be found. It's a message from Ned Stark. Yeah, Eddard Stark, the quiet warden of the North who lost his head in King's Landing. Turns out, before he died, Ned left behind a final warning. Not for Robert Baratheon, not even for Jon Snow, but for his family. And, maybe, for the realm itself. The letter says something like, "If I die in King's Landing, it will not be for treason. It will be because I know too much. There is truth buried here, but it is poison. Guard it well." Sam's heart stops for a second. This is huge, because Ned Stark, a man of honor, a man who rarely spoke more than he needed to, clearly knew something big, and whatever it was, he believed it could destroy everything. Sam digs deeper. He starts connecting dots. He remembers what Bran said about Jon Snow's true parents, Lyanna Stark and Rhaegar Targaryen. He remembers how Gilly found that hidden marriage record, but something still didn't add up. See, the world thinks Bran knows it all, but even the three-eyed raven can only see what he looks for. What if Ned Stark knew something that even Bran hasn't seen yet? So Sam keeps searching, day and night. And then, in an old Raven logbook, one of those dusty records where they write down what messages were sent and received, Sam finds proof that a raven was sent to Dorne just weeks before Robert's rebellion ended. It was unsigned, unmarked, but it talked about a child being hidden, far from the iron grasp of the crown. Now Sam's thinking, hold on, are we talking about Jon? Or someone else? What if Jon Snow wasn't the only hidden Targaryen child? This is where the theory goes wild, because suddenly there's a possibility that Rhaegar and Lyanna had a second child, a younger sibling to Jon, hidden even deeper, someone nobody ever talked about. Maybe because Lyanna died too soon. Maybe because the child was smuggled away to save it from Robert's wrath. And if that's true, then that person could have an even stronger claim to the throne than Bran, than Jon, than anyone alive. Sam doesn't panic, but he knows this can't be ignored. He takes the letter to Bran. Now, Bran is calm, like always. He closes his eyes. He goes deep into the past. He searches the weirwood net, looks through time, and when he opens his eyes again, he just whispers one word. Dorne. That's it. But Sam understands. It means the answer, the truth, the danger. It's all hidden in Dorne. And now, Sam is stuck. He's the Grand Maester. He can't just leave the capital. He can't tell anyone. Not Tyrion, not the small council, not yet. This is too big. So he sends someone he trusts. Gilly's brother, now grown. A quiet, loyal man who owes Sam everything. He rides for Dorne with a mission. Find the truth. Meanwhile, the capital is starting to shift. Whispers are growing. People talk about how the Grand Maester is too powerful, that he's digging into things that should stay buried. Lords and ladies who lost everything during Daenerys' reign. They want the old world back. the world where truth was twisted to suit the crown. And Sam, he's not playing along. He starts pushing education reforms. He wants young boys and girls from all corners of Westeros, even Flea Bottom, to be able to read, learn, and maybe one day become maesters too. He says things like, knowledge shouldn't belong to the rich, it should belong to everyone. But that kind of thinking, it scares the nobles. They start to say he's overstepping, that he's not a real maester, that he's too close to the king, that maybe, just maybe, he's trying to control the throne from behind the scenes, and that's when the rumors start. That Samwell Tarly is writing his own history of the realm, that he's preparing to expose every lie, every cover-up from Robert's rebellion, all, the way to the burning of King's Landing, that his book will ruin the names of every great house, and in secret rooms of power, some lords start whispering, he must be stopped, before he burns us all with his truths. Sam doesn't know it yet, but a storm is coming. 3 weeks pass, long ones, quiet ones. But Samwell Tarly can feel it. Something's about to shift. He tries to focus on council meetings, on the new school plans, on the book he's secretly writing, The True History of Westeros. But his mind keeps drifting to Dorne, to the letter, to Ned Stark's warning, to the mystery child who might exist. Then, one foggy morning, the gates of the Red Keep open, and the rider returns. Sam rushes to his quarters. The door shuts behind them. The man is covered in dust and sunburn, his eyes red from travel. But in his hand he holds a small pouch. Inside is a folded piece of silk, and inside that, a document. Old, sealed, Dornish. Sam takes a deep breath, breaks the wax, opens it, and right there in Old Valyrian script is the name, Rhaenyra Sand, not Snow, not Targaryen, but Sand, the name bastards take in Dorne. Except this one, she's not just anyone. She's the daughter of Rhaegar Targaryen and Lyanna Stark. Yeah, you heard that right. Jon Snow had a sister, born in secret, taken south to Dorne by a midwife loyal to House Dane, the same house that gave us Sir Arthur Dane, the Sword of the Morning. She was raised hidden among the lesser noble houses, taught to keep quiet, to never claim anything, to blend in. But now, Sam has proof. A birth record, a seal from the Tower of Joy itself, signed by the Maester who delivered her. All this time the truth was there, hidden in plain sight. And Sam, he's shocked, terrified, but deep down, excited. Because he knows what this means. Not just for Jon, not just for Bran, but for all of Westeros. Another heir. A real one, born of fire and ice, raised in peace, not war, far from court lies and blood games. Maybe she could be what the realm needs. But, of course, nothing in Westeros is that simple. Because the moment Sam confirms the name, something else happens. The whispers, they turn into shouts. Suddenly, nobles are demanding to know why the Grand Maester is sending riders across the realm without informing the council. They accuse him of building a secret power base, of working against the crown. Tyrion hears it too. He calls Sam to his chamber, pours 2 cups of wine, and says straight up, "You're playing with wildfire, Sam. You of all people should know. Truth doesn't always set you free. Sometimes it gets you killed." Sam looks him in the eye. "So what do I do? Lie? Let the past rot in silence?" Tyrion sighs. "I'm just saying. Be careful who hears it first." But it's already too late, because one of the council members, a young lord with old loyalties, has overheard everything. And the next day, a raven flies to Storm's End. Guess who's there? Gendry Baratheon, Lord of Storm's End, the king's newly legitimized cousin. Still loyal to House Targaryen, yes, but also proud of his Baratheon blood, and once he hears about Rhaenyra Sand, he feels something snap inside him. He remembers what Daenerys did to King's Landing. He remembers Robert's hate for the Targaryens, and now there's another one. A secret daughter? He sees it as a threat, a time bomb, and he makes a decision. He rides. Meanwhile, Sam is in the library when he's interrupted by Bran. The king arrives quietly with no guards, just the click of his chair echoing in the halls. Sam kneels, but Bran says nothing for a long time. Then finally, Bran looks straight at him. "You found her." Sam nods. "Yes, Your Grace." Bran just whispers, "The Game of Thrones never ends." And right there, Bran tells him something even he didn't expect. "She's not just Jon's sister. She's my cousin, but her blood is older than mine. Purer." Sam gulps. "Do you want me to keep it quiet?" Bran shakes his head slowly. "No, but I want you to be ready when others don't." And the very next day, chaos erupts because Storm's End marches. Gendry, now backed by 3 bannermen, enters King's Landing under the excuse of a visit. But he brings over 200 armed men. Bodyguards, he calls them. Sam knows it's a bluff. Tyrion knows it too. Even Sansa, who visits the capital once a season, feels the tension in the air when she arrives that week, because now it's clear the crown has a problem. Another Targaryen. A hidden heir and a Grand Maester who won't stop telling the truth. The council wants Sam to burn the records, destroy the scroll, pretend it never existed. But Sam. He locks the document in the Tower archives, protected by magic, protected by oath, and now he's being watched, followed, whispers in the halls, eyes in the dark. Because someone out there knows. If Rhaenyra Sand is alive, she could become queen. Far away from the cold stone of King's Landing, deep in the golden deserts of Dorne, a storm is quietly forming, and its name is Rhaenyra Sand. She doesn't know it yet. Not fully. She's lived a quiet life raised by a noble but minor Dornish family. She's been taught swordplay, riding, reading, and silence. Always silence. All her life she's been told, "You're special," but not in a way the world needs to know. Not yet. But now, riders are arriving. One of them wears the mark of the Citadel. The other bears a sealed scroll from King's Landing. And they've come to deliver the truth that changes her world. Your mother was Lyanna Stark. Your father was Rhaegar Targaryen. Rhaenyra doesn't flinch. Not at first, but her eyes burn. Not with shock, but with something deeper, something older. Like she always knew she wasn't ordinary. She just didn't know why. She doesn't cry, doesn't panic. She listens. She reads the scroll herself. Then she looks at the maester who raised her, the woman who called herself her aunt. "Why didn't you tell me?" And the answer is simple. Cold, honest. Because Westeros kills girls like you. But now things have changed. Now, the truth is out. Now, the Grand Maester of the realm is speaking her name in King's Landing. And now, everyone wants a piece of her. 3 days later, a raven arrives. It bears the sigil of House Martell, long silent since the death of Doran, Oberyn, and the Sand Snakes. The new head of House Martell, a cautious but clever woman named Nyra Martell, sends a message. "You are of fire and salt. Come to Sunspear. Let us speak as family." So Rhaenyra rides, and when she arrives at Sunspear, the Martells greet her not as a bastard, but as a Targaryen princess. They give her chambers in the Tower of the Sun, dress her in red and gold, and for the first time in her life she feels something new. Power. But power in Dorne comes with options and enemies. because not everyone in House Martell agrees. Some remember what the Targaryens did to Elia and her children. Some say, no, more dragons. Others whisper, let her rise, and we rise with her. And while they argue behind closed doors, a much darker force is watching. From the shadows of the stepstones, a sellsword captain, once loyal to Cersei, hears about the hidden dragon in Dorne. He doesn't care about truth or justice. He cares about gold. And he knows one thing very well. A royal girl is worth more dead than alive, unless she can be sold to the highest bidder. Back in King's Landing, the tension is about to explode, because Samwell Tarly finally receives the letter he's been waiting for, a seal from Sunspear. The words are short, but the meaning is loud. She knows. She is ready. And now, Sam has a choice. Tell the council? Risk chaos? Risk Gendry, who is already sharpening his war axe, making speeches about protecting the realm from Targaryen madness? Or keep it quiet and send for her? He goes to Bran, sits down, heart racing, and lays it all out. She's real. She's smart. She's strong. And she's nothing like Daenerys. Bran closes his eyes, sees the flames, sees the truth, then says, then it's time. But the moment that Raven flies from the capital, someone else intercepts it. Varys may be dead. Littlefinger may be gone. But the game never dies. A new spider, a new whisperer, a faceless informant who's been hiding in the dungeons of politics since the day Daenerys burned the city, sees the letter and smiles. Let's see how the world handles another Targaryen queen. Because what started as a whisper is now turning into a roar. The people are beginning to talk, in markets, in brothels, in the Sept ruins. Did you hear? There's a girl in Dorne, dragon's blood. What if she's better than Bran? What if she's worse? And in Sunspear, Rhaenyra begins training again. Sword in hand, fire in her heart. She's not planning war, but she's preparing for something far more dangerous, a choice. The gates of King's Landing haven't seen a crowd this big since the coronation of Bran the Broken. Soldiers line the streets. Gold cloaks hold back restless whispers. And up on the battlements, nobles lean out to see her. Rhaenyra Sand. Or, as the rumors now call her, the girl with dragon's blood. She rides a black horse through the gate, head held high, cloak of red and gold wrapped tight. No crown, no dragons, just her, calm, silent, dangerous. Samwell watches from the Red Keep balcony, heart pounding. She made it, he whispers. Gods help us. She made it. It took weeks to get her here. Every mile from Dorne risked assassination. The faceless one who intercepted Sam's raven? Yeah, they sent killers. Twice. Both failed. Once by poison. Once by blade. The girl survived. Now she's here. And the realm is watching. Bran sits on the throne. Not the Iron Throne. That burned. But still he wears the crown of the 7 kingdoms. And today, in the Great Hall, all eyes are on the meeting. Rhaenyra walks in. Alone. No one knows what to expect. Will she kneel? Will she claim? Will she burn it all down? She walks to the center of the room and bows. Just low enough to show respect, but not deep enough to say, I serve you. And that silence, it shakes the room more than any shout. Bran speaks softly. You are Lyanna's daughter. She nods. And Rhaegar's. Bran looks at Sam. Sam gives the faintest nod. Tyrion steps forward, breaking the tension. The council welcomes you. Your name carries weight. But what do you want? Rhaenyra looks around. Her voice is calm, steady. Not the crown. Not war. I want the truth known. I want peace. I want to serve the realm, not rule it. The room shifts. Some sigh in relief. Others don't believe her for a second. Gendry Baratheon, arms crossed, speaks next. And what if the people start chanting your name? What if they say you should rule instead of Bran? What happens then? She looks him dead in the eye. Then, you remind them I bowed. Boom. But the truth, not everyone buys it. Behind the scenes, things are breaking. The new spider, known only as the Listener, spreads leaflets across the city overnight. A queen in hiding, a city that once burned. Will history repeat? Bran sits, but the dragon waits. The people start talking again. Fear grows. Nobles meet in secret, and one night, a plan is born. A lord from the Vale, a cousin of the Arryn line, offers a feast in Rhaenya's honor. A gesture of peace, he says. A welcome. But Sam, who's now always 3 moves ahead, doesn't like it. He sneaks into the kitchen hours before the meal, finds a strange bottle, smells it, tastes metal, death, poison. He doesn't even flinch. He's seen this before. The same trick, used on Jon Arryn, way back at the start of it all. The game, Sam whispers, never changes. He cancels the feast before it begins. Quietly. No drama. No arrests. But now he knows. Someone wants her dead. That night, he visits Rhaenya in her quarters. She sits near the window looking at the Red Keep in moonlight. You were almost killed tonight, Sam tells her. I know, she says softly. You need protection. Real allies. She looks back at him. Then be one. And right there, they make a pact. No thrones. No rebellion. Just truth. Sam will help her share her story with the realm, in her own words. A public speech, a declaration, one that ends the lies before they become fire. But the small council? They're splitting. Tyrion wants peace. Sansa, visiting from the north, watches quietly but doesn't trust it. Gendry? He's had enough. He storms out of the council one night yelling, "First Daenerys, now this. How many dragons must we bury before we learn?" He rides for Storm's End the next morning, and now the city is tense, divided, fragile, because the truth is simple. If one more spark hits the floor, everything burns again. So Sam moves fast. He arranges the public gathering at the Dragon Pit, the same place where Jon once brought a white to Cersei. Now, Rhaenya will bring the truth. The stage is set. Soldiers guard the gates. Ravens fly, and thousands gather. The Dragon Pit is full. Every stone bench packed. Merchants, nobles, soldiers, even spies, all waiting. The sun beats down hard, the wind is quiet, but the tension, you could slice it with Valyrian steel. And at the center, on a raised stone platform, stands Rhaenya Sand. Or, as some now, whisper Rhaenya Targaryen. No banners, no crown, just a simple dress. Red. Stark against the ash-gray stone around her. Samwell Tarly stands nearby, not as a maester today, as her witness, the one who brought the truth back from the dead. And, in the crowd, Tyrion, Sansa, Davos, Missandei's brother. Even Arya, hidden in the shadows, returned from distant shores. Watching, silent. But not everyone is there to listen. In a nearby tower, a lone archer waits, hired by someone rich, someone scared, someone who'd rather spill royal blood than see the wheel turn again. But for now, there is silence, until Rhaenya steps forward and speaks. Her voice is soft. At first, but it carries. I was born in Dorne, raised by quiet people, good people. People who kept me safe from a world that would have torn me apart if they knew who I was. My name is Rhaenyra. My mother was Lyanna Stark. My father was Rhaegar Targaryen, and I am not here to take a throne. A rustle moves through the crowd. I am here to remind you. The truth matters. Blood matters. But peace matters more. She breathes. Her eyes scan. The crowd. I have no dragons. I have no army. I am not Daenerys. I do not come to rule. I come to serve, if I'm allowed. A pause. Or I can disappear, if that is what Westeros needs. It's quiet. Too quiet, until someone claps. One clap, then another. Then the crowd, slow, unsure, begins to cheer. Not for a queen, not for a conqueror, but for a survivor, who told the truth and didn't ask for power in return. Samwell lets out a breath he didn't know he was holding. Tyrion nods. Sansa watches with unreadable eyes. And Bran, far away in the Red Keep, smiles the faintest smile. But then, thwip, an arrow. It whistles through the air, fast, sharp, aimed right for Rhaenyra's heart. Gasps, screams. Sam turns. Too late, but she's not hit. A guard, one of the city watch, a nobody, a boy no older than 16, throws himself in the way. The arrow hits him. He collapses. Chaos breaks out. Soldiers swarm the tower. The archer flees. But he's caught, dragged down, screaming. And the message is clear. There are still people in power who want her gone. Rhaenyra doesn't leave the stage. She kneels beside the dying boy, holds his hand, whispers something no one hears. Then she stands, blood on her hands, and says to the people, "This is what fear does. This is why I speak, not to divide you, but to break this curse." And that day, the city makes a choice. Not Bran, not war, not rebellion, but hope. In the days that follow, Yiluam, council votes, Rhaenyra is offered a seat, not as queen, but as royal advisor on legacy and education. A made-up title, but a powerful one. One that lets her shape schools, rewrite histories, and change the future. Samwell stays as Grand Maester. Bran keeps his crown. Gendry, still bitter, returns to Storm's End, but doesn't rebel. Tyrion retires 3 years later. Sansa rules the north with pride. Arya sails again, but this time leaves a blade behind, with Rhaenyra. For when words are not enough. And the kingdom heals. It doesn't forget. It doesn't magically become perfect. But for once, the truth wins. And Samwell, years later, in a quiet study with books stacked to the ceiling, he finishes his greatest work. Not a history of kings or battles, but a book called The Princess Who Told the Truth. He closes it, smiles. I hope they believe it. Because in a world built on lies and thrones and blood, sometimes the most powerful weapon is a voice that refused to lie.